Year to everyone celebrating the year of the goat or the sheep, depending on what you've decided to go for. Well, it's time for Media Watch. James Queen is here with us now. Good to see you, James.
Likewise, Laura.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Chinese Year to you too.
Absolutely. We're going to start with the top story here in France. The government easily survived that no confidence vote in Parliament, as was expected. But it did get a few people flapping online today.
That's right. You have to react to this kind of stuff on French social media, and they do in their dozens, even hundreds. Let's first take a look at the Huffington Post French edition and their headline: "Motion rejected." So you can see it there in big, bold letters. And indeed, they had an historical article earlier saying that there have been 163 such votes, if I'm not mistaken, in the Fifth Republic, and it's only worked out once. So these are very, very rare.
Last time was nearly 10 years ago, though.
That's right, the last no confidence vote. So it was pretty much obvious that it wouldn't pass. And even Reuters were saying earlier today, rebels, because all of this, of course, was because the economic reform bill was forced through using a constitutional article that is rarely invoked.
That cannot be used again by Manuel Valls, by the way.
Oh, interesting. It's only once in a term?
Yes.
Well, what happened was he realised that there were some rebels in the Socialist Party who weren't going to come behind the bill, so he actually opted.
He gambled and he won.
But now they're back in the fold, apparently, according to Reuters. And people online were having a lot of fun with these sort of images depicting Manuel Valls as authoritarian, even perhaps somewhat dictatorial. You had references as well to 50 Shades of Grey, all rather improbably. That's 49.3 shades of democracy. In other words, democracy is being nuanced or not really fully respected. And
well, it is a French law.
That's right, and it is Article 49.3 for people who find that reference a little bit obscure. Sorry, this is way too obscure. In any case, the head of the Socialists in the Parliament also spoke to French parliamentary television just before the vote, saying, "Look, this is going to pass." So there really wasn't much suspense, Laura, and but it didn't stop people, continuing to be critical of the French Prime Minister for choosing to use that controversial article, which basically allows you to sidestep a parliamentary vote and ram through whatever reform you want. So not everybody approved of that particular method.
The opposition right wing approved, because they said although they support the package of economic reforms, of course they wanted to vote to oust the government.
That's right.
Valls was having a pop at them there.
It's pretty. I mean, they're clearly in favour of Sunday working hours, etc. The right wing in France is more in favour of that. But any chance, I suppose, to point out that the government has been weakened by the fact that they didn't have a majority to vote through that reform bill.
There's some soul searching for the Socialists to do, and they're meeting soon to discuss that. Let's move now to Denmark. Country still very much in grief following those attacks in Copenhagen last weekend. We had the funeral for one of the victims yesterday, and people have been taking to social media to express themselves about this again.
That's right. It's quite interesting, actually, that the whole week long there has been the use of, if I could find it, I seem to have been losing my way. A beautiful Danish hashtag, Jeg smiler tilbage. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I pronounced that correctly. I think I probably mangled
Apologies to our
But indeed, it means I will smile back. Now, where did this emerge from? It emerged from the fact that there was a Muslim woman in Copenhagen interviewed by the press who said, I'm afraid now that people won't smile at me because of these attacks in Copenhagen. So there was this hashtag to reassure some. This was an interview in the Danish press in which she expressed that opinion. So a lot of people
in the Danish... It's a bit like the I'll ride with you in Australia.
Exactly. And I think I have some examples of that there. So that was back in December in Sydney, when there was a woman saying, I'm afraid to take public transport now with the veil on because I'm afraid I'll be associated with the Sydney siege and all of that. And I will ride with you. In other words, if you're afraid to ride public transport.
Didn't that one turn out to be a big hoax? And in fact, it was an Australian journalist who saw a woman wearing a hijab and she kind of imagined the whole thing in her head.
Oh, wow.
I think it was exposed as a hoax, that one.
I mean, the original
post, right, which sparked the whole thing.
The way it started was, at least I thought that's how it was, that there was a journalist in the train station and somebody took off her veil, according to his version of events, and
it was a woman journalist, and I think she was.
She was fibbing.
There's a bit of dispute about it, but
in any case,
I'll say it was all in her imagination.
In any case, 90,000 people used that hashtag in a bid to show solidarity. Absolutely. So whether or not it was a genuine moment, a lot of people felt, I suppose, sympathy with the idea of showing solidarity with the Australian Muslim population. So there you go. People, I suppose, trying to be a bit optimistic and show a degree of solidarity
this won't
in a
divide us.
climate of concern and fear, often legitimate.
Absolutely. We're going to end in Egypt at the pyramids.
That's right.
Very nice. A bit of an embarrassing photograph for a tourist.
That's right. I'll show you first of all the kind of photos I'm talking about, Laura. You know,
I tried to do that.
You know the ones
myself.
Pisa. You know where you're supporting the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and then what else do you have? You have a. Well, that's one I suppose with the soldiers in the UK. But this is more the one I'm talking about.
Oh, the Louvre,
you stand
right.
at a certain different distance, and then you pretend to hold some sort of a monument.
I did that one. But it didn't work out, and I kissed its neck.
Oh dear! Well, look at what Jean Le Drian, the French defence minister, did in Egypt. Now,
he's way out.
I think what happened here is somebody did actually get the right angle, and then another person was taking a photograph from another angle and decided to pretend that the defence minister was a bit of a loony and got it all wrong. But in any case, French social media has been making fun of the defence minister for being unable.
He was in Egypt
to judge. That's right.
Selling warplanes, right?
There you go, and also taking bad tourist photos.
It looks like he had some time to have some fun.
That's right. We'll finish with something seasonal.
Yeah.
This is Chinese New Year. It is the year of the goat, and of course, French social media users have been finding photos of French politicians with goats just because. And just to finish the one detail, Nicolas Sarkozy was also born in the year of the goat, Laura. Isn't that fantastic?
That is very interesting and useful information, James. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for Media Watch.
That's right.
Well, time now for our focus reports.